Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. We're one day away from snow, and I absolutely cannot wait for it. I took the day off yesterday, and it just seems like everything decided to happen, whether it was the Valentine's Day Solier controversy, or whether it was the bannings that happened, or if people just wanted to talk about the Lunar New Year's event. Today, we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to give you kind of my thoughts on it, and hopefully we'll be able to move on from it. So probably the biggest issue would be the Valentine's Day Solier that was released and announced in JP. A lot of people had problems with his artwork. I talked about it on stream the first day. A lot of people were really upset. They said that this depicted, in essence, some form of child erotica. I don't think that's true. I think this picture is actually quite far from that. It might be a little bit unsavory, I would say, but it's definitely not the extreme that a lot of people are really saying that it is. Now, I'm not an art expert, Giant is, and from our discussions, we kind of came to the same conclusion. Now, in her other art that was released alongside of her character launch, there was this image, and of course the dress is a little bit more longer, you know, everything's a little bit more savory. The question is this problematic? Is this a huge deal? Is this something that the global community should be up in arms about? I don't think it is. I think honestly that there are much other things to be angry about in terms of depictions of children in scantily clad clothes that maybe your rage should be directed to, right? It's a little ridiculous that you're getting upset about Valentine's Day Solier when you look at characters in FGO, in Azure Lane, that are making gasm faces, that are in sexual poses, that are actively revealing their underwear, that are clearly underage. This is much more problematic than a unsavory photo of Solier, whether or not she is underage. So for me, I think this was blown up a little bit out of control. I think definitely, you know, probably the bigger issue is that people are a little bit scared that this sets precedent, right? And I absolutely don't think this sets precedent for more characters like this, right? The biggest fear, I imagine, or at least my biggest fear, would be that this game becomes like FGO or like Azure Lane and is consistently depicting women this way, or depicting women in kind of wild styled clothing. I think that would be a poor direction. I think this is just a holiday choice. It's Valentine's Day. Her character is very Valentine's Day themed. Again, it just might be a little bit unsavory if she was underage. But I mean, I grew up with my sister wearing much more revealing clothing than this, and I'm just really not bothered by this. Like I said, Azure Lane, FGO seems much worse in comparison to me. Moving on, let's talk about the other things that are going on in regards to the bannings that happened. While I haven't seen if there was an official notice, I didn't see one posted. It was quite clear that a lot of people did get banned. There was a message on Reddit about it. People have been talking about it in the Discords. There were people who were banned from top-end guilds. It's pretty much your standard banning. The one thing I think is interesting in this round of bans is I do think it's interesting that people were banned for using VPN Visior purchasing. And I'm wondering if this is specifically because of the price increase that we saw go into effect in Brazil and Indonesia. I don't really know. I think, you know, whenever you're going to be purchasing things with VPN, it's risky because basically, you can absolutely get away with it, but you have to be smart enough to get away with it, right? And I would say 99% of people are not smart enough to get away with it. And, you know, probably most people think they are, and then they end up in a situation like this. And, you know, I myself fully acknowledge I could not do VPN Visior buying because I would fuck something up. I would probably, like, if I was in like another country and I was trying to use Amazon coins and I used a VPN and then I mixed up my address, like, this is why I tell people, you know, only buy Amazon coins if you're in the US or in an affiliated country, because it just gets messy. Amazon gets, you know, involved, Square Enix gets involved if like your addresses don't line up, and then it looks like you're committing fraud. There's so many things that could go wrong. So just don't buy Visior with a VPN. For those of you that were banned because of that, because you don't have easy access to purchasing Visior in your country, do know that in part, Agami and Square Enix are absolutely responsible for this situation, because they also, I feel like it's their responsibility to make the game accessible to people. And if you're having a large quantity of players in the player base using VPNs to buy Visior, that means your game isn't accessible in the regions that they're playing in, which means you probably have to do something to make it more accessible. That's kind of my thoughts on the situation. In terms of like hackers and cheaters that got banned, I mean, that's just Gummy's job. That's pretty typical. Someone was asking me if I thought it was a big deal that the hackers got banned, and I'm like, I don't really care. I guess it does affect a lot of the top guilds, since apparently a lot of the top guilds were having some hacking issues. So whether or not there were hackers in those guilds or they were going up against other guilds with hackers, I don't know. I just know that it is a consistent, non-stop point of conversation that I am honestly just tired of hearing, right? Gummy's gonna handle it. They're gonna handle them like they just did. And it's just something we have to deal with. They're always going to be in the community, no matter what we do. Now, let's end this on a positive note. Let's talk about how amazing the Lunar New Year's event is. Because literally, oh, I love logging in right now. And I think this is going to be probably a different video that I'm going to make. But I think this is probably the best War of Divisions has potentially ever been. You have a raid that is fun and engaging, and you have been given bonus rewards, which are absolutely incredible. You also, on the same time, have, you know, bingo events, and you have more daily logins, and you get really cool items, and there's a little bit of something for everyone. You know, you come into the shop, and if you're a minnow, if you're a whale, you have the daily purchase for 60 paid Visior. If I can get past here, in the New York New Year's Eve shop, the handy gift bag that restores every day, 10 large NRG pots, 50 skip tickets, 50 EXP XL cubes. Amazing, right? 60 paid Visior, that's ridiculous. Not only that, you have all the selects, you have all of the NRGs daily. Like, it's just awesome. It's great. You can go to the Mog shop. You can get hella things in the Ox medals. Like, you can get your Fortune Summon tickets, your skip tickets, which I'm just going to buy right here. You can go down to the bottom and you can buy Gil, because there's a shit ton of Gil. It's just great. It's awesome. If you are missed out on some recipes that are hard to get, you can absolutely purchase them here. I was able to buy a killer bow recipe, or the killer bow recipes that I needed to get my +5. It's great. Even the seals are a pretty good deal to get 5 for one of these. I mean, it's just great. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope that this is the beginning of sort of a standard for Gummy. And I think this is really going to be the beginning of kind of the 1 year anniversary mark, right? It's kind of like the warm up, if you will. I'm excited to see what happens next week. It might be the Golem raid. I would actually expect it to be the Golem raid. It could absolutely be something else. Like, it could be, you know, I don't know, like a global exclusive character. You never know. We could get Valentine's Day Celir, right? Which I would be fine with, because she's an ice unit and I could buff my ice unit team. Of course, she would be hell of a trap for a lot of people because we have Final Fantasy X coming in the future. So she would be like a Visior sync. So stay away from her if you're saving for Final Fantasy X. Other than that, gosh, has there been anything going on the last few days that I have just completely missed out on? I guess I should talk about the VC that I got, because I actually did get Little Leela's VC, and I've been experimenting with an Evasion composition, and I'm actually really liking it. It's actually been just a lot of fun, and it really, like, this VC actually makes her pretty powerful paired with the Esper. I like it. I think it's very powerful, very unique, very engaging almost to destroy your opponents, but that's just me. As always, guys, if you do want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins, or you can go to dig.gs/offer any day of the week, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. And if you're around later tonight, I will be streaming, probably by the end of the time you watch this video, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time tonight.